let me get started because I'm excited about what we are talking today about pushing our limits, breaking through our mental barriers, and forming stronger bonds. I'm going to tell you guys why it's important and really simple tips on how to do it too. So it's nothing that we're going to be talking about today is scary. But I have some really good tips that can go not just with your relationship, but with your whole life. And that's how most of my stuff is. I talk about a lot of things that all revolves around relationships and making your relationship even better. But also it can apply to your own life. So let me tell you who I am in case you haven't met me. I am Midori Verity. I'm a relationship coach and I'm the author of Secrets to a Kick-Ass Marriage. And I am also the host to the Ultimate Relationship Show. We are debuting the show starting in February, so stay tuned for that. We're starting it for Valentine's month. But we have all kinds of amazing people that we are interviewing, and thanks for the hearts. And there's going to be so much big information there. Yesterday I shared some of the things that I learned from an exercise expert on how to lose weight. She had lost 150 pounds, kept it off for, I don't know how many, at least 10 years. And so I shared those really easy ninja tricks. If you weren't here and you want to hear those because they were just cool tricks, I just couldn't wait to talk to you guys. You can go to my YouTube channel where it is. So it's Midori Verity YouTube, and that's where you'll see it. It's the top one. But today we are talking about pushing our comfort zone and breaking those boundaries and getting through some of those fears that we have a little bit, just stretching ourselves a bit to create stronger bonds with our partner. And there's a number of reasons why this works and why you want to be able to do that. One is it keeps your relationship from getting boring and stale. That is one of the biggest complaints I hear from clients, is that their relationships have gotten very, very boring because it just happens. We fall into a rut. We have our lives. Things are going smoothly, or they're going, we're used to it. That's our comfort zone. So we stay there. It's important to break that up and change it up a little bit so that you keep the interest going in your relationship, because I'm all about the long-term relationship, but also I'm about keeping it happy and exciting and fun. So that's why. Another thing is that when you are breaking through those limitations that you have and stretching your comfort zone, breaking out of your comfort zone a bit, it creates more excitement and passion. But also when you're doing that, you create a stronger bond with your partner because you're supporting each other in it. And we're going to be going over some strategies on how to do this. But those are all things that you are building up in your relationship on a day-to-day basis. So you're building up your trust, you're building up the support. Also, it keeps you. Have you ever seen people or known people or ever fallen into this rut yourself where you get a little bit lazy and you aren't pushing yourself? You just you've gotten so comfortable where you are. Even if you're not happy, don't mix those up. Even if you're not happy, you're doing the same thing. How do you change the routine? Good question, and I'm going to get to it in just a second because there are simple things that we're going to talk about on how to change that routine without it having to change everything in your life. Very simple techniques. Just little steps. And so I'm going to go over that in just a minute. Stay here with me. But also another thing that it does, it helps create creativity in your mind so that you can, if you're in a job, if you have your own company, it helps you break through that mindset that we have so we can get more creative. Simple. Here's one little tip. Just real quick. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but just driving your car a different way to work. This is science. I'm not making this stuff up. Driving your car a different way to work than you usually do. Those type of little things breaks you out of the norm. It breaks you out of your comfort zone because you're doing something different. Even if you aren't really thinking about it, it's subconscious. All this stuff is subconscious. So doing those type of things to help break you out of that rut. But getting back to the kind of being lazy and stuck. So many people go into this rut at some point where you aren't changing things. You're not necessarily happy, but you aren't changing anything. You're not going after that position that you really want. You're not gaining the money that you want. You're not having that relationship that you really want because you're doing this. the same old thing. So that's the other reason, big reason, to break out of your comfort zone a bit, because it gets the energy going, it gets the excitement going, it gets your passion going, and it helps lead into other more positive change. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes and the more of a habit it becomes. You get used to being outside of your comfort zone. It's just like working out. The more you work out, the easier it becomes. And if you fall back, it's easier to get back into it. Even if you haven't worked out in a few months, you can still get back into it easier than someone who's never worked out, because they're not used to that mental strain that you put yourself through. But when you've been doing it, you kind of get used to it, and so you can fall off for a while, but get back on the horse. Make sense, you guys? Are you guys following me on this? I hope that I'm being clear on what this is, because this stuff is powerful. Again, all of January and throughout most of my courses, what I talk about are things that change your mindset to change your lives, but really, really easy, simple, practical steps that any of us can do. So I want to talk about this concept called optimal anxiety, because what optimal anxiety is about is there are kind of thresholds to where you want to push your comfort zone. So those people or when you push your comfort zone a little too much. So let's say like you want to lose 50 pounds and then you don't achieve it. When you're saying, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, that creates a lot of stress within our body. We're like, oh my God, 25 or 50 pounds, that's a lot. And it's overwhelming, right? And then more often than not, we don't achieve that goal. And when we don't achieve that goal, it creates even more stress on ourselves and we're even more happy. And therefore what happens, remember the mental part is that when you aren't achieving those goals, you think in your heads, again, subconsciously that, oh, when I push myself outside of my limits, when I try to achieve goals that are too high, I don't achieve them. I don't get there. So therefore, I don't want to step out of those boundaries. So that's too much. That's a little too much anxiety. There are ways to lose 50 pounds without saying I'm losing 50 pounds. And so we went over those yesterday, and I'll go over them again at a different time. But there are strategies to accomplish that. By the way, thanks you guys for the hearts. I love those. So it's Dr. Robert Yerkes and Dr. John Dotson. They talk about that optimal anxiety. You want to reach that optimal anxiety. Thanks, you guys. Because an optimal anxiety level is where you're pushing yourself just outside your comfort zone so that you have that excitement. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Take a Dog. And so again, when you're pushing yourself just to that limit where you're feeling a little bit of discomfort, that's a good place to be. And so let's go into some of the tips. Robert and Wendy, thank you for being here. So exciting to see you guys. Okay, so what we are talking about, if you're just hopping on, I know some people are just hopping on. We're talking about pushing your boundaries, pushing your comfort zone, but just pushing it enough so that it's not overwhelming. And one other thing before we go into the tips is, even if you want some giant goal, I talk about 90-day goals. I'm huge on 90-day goals, but then breaking them into smaller bits so it's not overwhelming. But when you start achieving small goals, so if you want to run a marathon, you're not going to go out from running maybe a quarter mile to running 26 miles all at once. That's impossible. It's ridiculous and you'll quit. So what you want to do is you start running 1 mile and then you add on maybe a couple extra blocks or maybe a quarter mile, but it's planned out. There's small chunks that you do so that you achieve those goals without it seeming overwhelming. It's the same in this case. So if you want to achieve some giant goal, awesome, but break it down into smaller chunks that are more achievable so that you are doing those. We talk about, those of you who've been with me for a while, I talk about the 90-day goals and the weekly goals, but that you're making those check marks each day. I did it. And you look at it, you're like, wow, I'm awesome. I'm achieving these goals. Really, really, really important for our mental subconscious. Okay, guys? Okay, so let's talk about some of these tips on how to push your limits within your relationship to just create enough tension and enough excitement there. Some easy things. One I mentioned a little while ago is to drive a different way to work each day. Go a different way each day. Yes, it may take longer. Maybe you'll find there's a quicker route, but it's good for that, again, that mental freshness in your brain. You're breaking through what you are used to. You're breaking that norm. Or even just having dinner in a different room. So if you guys always sit at the kitchen table, go somewhere else. Go sit outside. Well, where I live right now, you don't want to sit outside because it's freezing, but maybe sit in a different room. Into my destiny. That's right. Maybe you'll bump into your destiny. You never know. I hope you do. Destiny seems to pop out when you're not expecting it. Wouldn't you say? So anyway, just, go and have dinner in a different room. Maybe use different plates. Bring out the china that you only bring out once a year for Christmas or for the holidays. Do something different. Also, when you're dating, go do something different. If you're doing the same thing, how boring does that get when you've been with the same person for a long time? So maybe go try a different restaurant. Go hey, you guys, thanks. Come on in. Buckhorn Bar. That's that sounds like a fun bar if that's what you are. And by the way, tomorrow is Happy Hour Friday. We are going to be featuring a new, I've never heard of it, but ginger liqueur. They sent me a bottle, so I'm going to try it tomorrow. So join me tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, and I will be sharing this new cocktail, and I'll let you know about ginger liqueur. Who knows? It's not ginger beer, it's ginger liqueur. Okay, so you're in Sierra City, California. Are you up north? Near Tahoe area? Where are you guys? By the way, I love it up there, and I'm sure it's freezing if that is where you guys are. I think we're going up to go skiing pretty soon. Okay, so try something new, try a different class, try a wine tasting class, try a dancing class, things that you haven't done before. Trying a different restaurant if you've never had Indian food. Go try it. 1 hour north of Truckee. Awesome. I'm going to look for you guys. And my girlfriend owns, the bar right in Truckee, the Tourist Club. The Tourist Club. It's been there forever. So if you're familiar with the bar, she's there, and she's very, very cool. She and her husband. Okay, I'm digressing. So sorry. Or try a new class. Go travel. Go do something different. You know what? Send me some recipes. If you guys have a cocktail recipe or a food recipe, we are featuring these on our blogs. So if you are a business or a blogger, go ahead and send them to me, and I'll forward them to my person who helps me out with these. But MidoriVerity.com, we have some really cool ones that are coming up, and often I do feature them. So if you are a regular scoper who follows me, I would love to feature your cocktail and do a shout out to you guys. So please send it over, and we'll incorporate it. But it has to be good. So traveling to a foreign land. So for a lot of people, traveling to a foreign land can be just going to the next city. So, or even in your own city. How many of us are in cities where there's all kinds of tourist places that people come to see, but you don't go there? Go do it. Go do something different. Try dressing differently. If you always wear a trucker t-shirt tucked in, try getting a collared shirt. Try different types of jeans, different colors, different shoes. Do a different hairdo. Be careful, ladies, be careful with the hairdo, but try something a little different, just to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Watch Huell Hauser and go to all the places he went. I don't know who that is. Is he someone who promotes traveling? Will you post that again? Because I would love for everyone to see that. Okay, you guys, intimacy. Any of you who've been together with the same person for a long time, this becomes an issue. We get into that comfort zone again, and so we do the same thing, and we don't want to get embarrassed. California's Gold. Yes, Huell. I don't know what that is. I'm going to look them up, though, after this. So some ways to break out of that intimacy rut. You guys listen up, and I'm going to be careful with my words. On my podcast, I go much, much deeper. And we reveal more secretive kind of things. But here, I'm being very PG-13. So get a book. You guys all hear about, the 50 Shades. Get that book and read sections of it together. It's not embarrassing. You can laugh about it. You can be embarrassed, but I have a feeling for those of you who've been like this, it is going to spark something, and you may be very, very surprised, pleasantly surprised at where it goes. So try doing that. If your partner's uncomfortable with breaking through that, there's a whole science, or there's a whole psychology behind that. There's a lot of different reasons why people get stuck with intimacy. Maybe it's things that they've been taught from when they were younger, religious, all kinds of stuff. But there are small little ways of breaking through that. And when you do, you guys, when you break through that intimacy rut and you start exploring different things together, it's so not just about the sex. It's about creating a stronger bond. It's about creating a stronger trust. It's creating more fun and excitement, because with your partner, you guys obviously like that. I thought you might. When you break through those things with your partner, that's special. You can't just do that with most of us can't do that with just anybody, right? Yes, totally. And once you start doing it, you guys, on all these things, including intimacy, when you start doing little steps to break out of that comfort zone, you'll be surprised, but it gets easier. It gets easier to take it to the next level and to try new things. And all of a sudden, you guys are talking about different stuff that maybe a couple months back, there was no way in heck that you would have. You will be surprised. I've been married for almost 30 years, and I've been with the same guy for almost 30 years. That's a long ass time. The other partner has to be willing to go there. That's right. So there are little steps that you can take to help your partner get there. And I guarantee as you help your partner get there, they will be pleased. And chances are that comfort zone was integrated into them. And I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So I just happen to bring it up and I talk about it because this is a true thing. I know people who haven't had sex in 15 years. Don't let that happen to you. Keep following me too. So what's one step? So one is bringing out a magazine, an intimacy magazine. Again, we're talking PG-13, so you guys have to use your imagination here. An intimacy magazine, an article that's on the internet. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on the internet that you can bring up and just say, oh my gosh, I have to read this to you. What do you think of this? I'm kind of cracking up. Make it light so they are not automatically feeling defensive, like, uh-oh, I know that I'm not supposed to talk about sex. I know that I'm not supposed to be thinking outside of my little box. So do it light and bring it up like that. And just watch what happens. But make sure you take action. So if you are getting your especially for males, if you're getting your female partner, okay, I'm not trying to be, whether you're heterosexual or whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you're getting your partner a little bit heated, you better take action, because that creates a momentum as well. Because if you're doing all this stuff, but you're too scared to take action, it's going to be harder to do it next time. So do baby steps, but touch them. Do a massage on their feet. Do a massage on their back. It loosens them. It loosens people up so that they are more open to taking it to the next stage, more intimacy. But you have to get your partner relaxed. For those of us who have kids who are crazy busy with work, or with volunteering or with life, which so many of us are, must go. Thank you, and thanks for joining me. It was fun having you. Oh, you're drunk? Get them drunk. Is that what you're saying? I have blogs on that. So again, tomorrow is our happy hour Friday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Come join us. Okay, so you got to be careful with getting him drunk, because often if you let it go too far, your chances go way down. However, I strongly believe in, having something to loosen you up a little bit. A glass of wine, some champagne, make it an intimate setting. So again, if you haven't had intimacy in a while, or if it's at the same level, number one, and I'm glad that you guys are talking about this right now, because I will do next week, I think I'll do a new scope that's just about this. I am going to talk about this next week, about sex and how to take it to the next level. And, am I blushing? I think I am. And I shouldn't be. This is my topic, but I am. You just wanted to, get them a little bit relaxed. So have some champagne, have some wine, have a cocktail, whatever it is, have beer, whatever you love. Do a massage Again, if you haven't touched each other in a long time, just do small touch. Build up, you guys. Plan it out in your head without saying anything to them. Touch them on their hand. Rub their shoulders. Touch their hair. Do it softly, again, if you haven't done it in a long time. But if you just are so busy that you still love each other, but you just haven't had time, a foot massage is flipping huge for women. It's huge, huge, huge. If you haven't heard of Susan Bratton, she is a sex expert. I love, love, love her. She's a crack up. I interview her. You can see her on my podcast that'll be coming up. And she's even in my book. I have a whole chapter dedicated to her, but she talks about how a foot massage for a woman is the same as, how do I say this, PC? For a man, doing that one thing that women do for men sometimes that they can't do to themselves. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys can read into this. But it's the equivalent of that. Oh, thank you. Agree with them and have tried all that. But again, my wife is so unwilling. Okay. So maybe you need to have an article. So what I have seen with clients who have these issues, again, I talk with people who haven't had sex in 15 years was the extreme, but 2 years, I have several clients who haven't had sex in 2 years or months. Find out what the issue is. Is it more psychological, something that happened from when they're a child, or is it because they're so damn busy? For a long time, it is normal to go through ruts. For those of us who've been together for a long time, we go through ruts. So another thing that I talk about all the time is taking your partner outside of where you guys usually are. Again, this is breaking your comfort zone. So going to a hotel, doing an overnight, I call them sexcations. Doing an overnight, doing a couple days where you get out of your regular lifestyle. No kids. Put your kids with grandparents or with trusted friends or family. Get a really kick-ass babysitter that you trust and you pay them well and you take care of them like a king. Yeah, I totally get it. And it's her. Okay, so relaxing her a little bit, constantly telling her, women need to hear this. Women need to hear how beautiful we are. Even if you tell them you love them and you feel like they should understand that, you have to verbalize it. You have to look at them in the eyes so that they know that you're paying attention. Make sure that you're giving them those kudos, because the women need to hear that. Some women more than others, but it is very important. And for women, men need to hear that too. Men need to hear that you support them, that you are proud of them for whatever they are doing. So whether it's in their job, whether it's their coaching, whatever they're doing that's important to them, it's very, very important for you to but to get across to them that you are proud of them and that you are thankful to them for supporting your family and taking care of the kids, the home, whatever it is. Pay attention to those little things. It's that gratitude attitude that I talk about all the time. It is imperative to a long-term relationship to have that gratitude attitude. So men, make sure that you are telling your women how flippin' gorgeous they are, how great they look in an outfit. Do not criticize them, because it will come back and it will bite you in the ass and not in the way that you want. So be very mindful of those kind of things. So try it. I don't know if you, Buckhorn Bar, if you are, what's your first name, by the way? Because I know I'm going to see you again. Have you guys gone on a little mini vacation? Kevin, have you guys gone on a little mini vacation over an overnight? Do you do it on a regular basis? My husband and I we live in Northern California, we would go to Vegas because for whatever reason for me, Vegas was the place where I could just relax. That's a place where I felt like I was 18 again. I acted like I was 18 again. I wore skirts that I would never wear here. But it was fun. That was our personal time. That was our personal, where, again, it was building up that trust. So it's not just about the sex. 2 kids that keep us busy. I've been there, where we traveled every weekend for their crazy, their soccer and baseball, and they're on these travel leagues and everything else. So I get it. It is very, very important, Kevin, to make sure, and everyone else, to find a babysitter. If you don't have family around, I didn't have family around, find someone who you totally trust. So maybe it's friends who have kids the same age that you can kind of share. So you can watch their kids and they can watch your kids, but you trust them and your kids like being there. Find those people, invest in those people. I found a great babysitter who I talk to. In fact, I help him with his business. He helps me, and establish those relationships because it will go a long way. But you have to do those one-nighters away. You have to. I know you got to find that person. I found mine at the gym. I found a couple at the gym that we go to. So I saw how they interacted with my kids over time. I talked to friends. But finding friends, families, that we trust, and we were very selective, but either way, sometimes you just got to let yourself do it a little bit. I did it from when our kids were little. And again, together with the same partner for almost 30 years. We are talking about breaking the comfort zone. Remember, we're talking about breaking your comfort zone. So finding someone that you trust enough to watch your kids. Again, it's just for one night. They're not taking over custody. They're not educating your kids on school or anything else. So you have to break out of those comfort zones. Otherwise, your relationship will suffer. 25, that's awesome. But yeah, when you've been, regardless of whether you've been with someone for, 5 years, 7 years, 35 years, you have to keep nurturing that relationship. Otherwise, it will go bleh. And then all of a sudden I hear these people who say, oh, my partner got up and left out of the blue. I had no idea. I'm like, BS. No, there were clues. You stop concentrating on the relationship. You have to. And there's not a lot that you don't have to go over the moon. You just have to pay attention to those things like the gratitude attitude, showing appreciation, showing love, doing the foot massages, connecting, going on dates, going on overnights. You have to, because I promise, if you're afraid of leaving your kids for one night, that I have been knocking on that door for 25 years and it's just not opening up. Try something new. We talked about some different ideas, but keep trying something new. Don't give up, because your partner's probably feeling the same way. They want something else. You're going to bark. Get them a little bit loosened up. Plan it out. On my blog, I just changed blog, so I usually have some articles on that, on tips, like a whole sequence of a plan on how to accomplish the most successful sexcation, how to accomplish the best Valentine's Day date, which can be applied to anything. There are steps that you can do so that they can't say no. And once you start building that up, it gets easier. Because you're breaking down those walls that probably have been built up over time. But it can happen. Just pay attention to those little things. Start now. Start today doing those little steps. Staying the gratitude attitude, showing your appreciation, doing that soft touch. Lots of walls, but she is probably feeling the same way as you. So it's time that both of you start knocking him down bit by bit. Remember, don't think of the big picture like this where it's scary. Do it bit by bit and watch things starting to build, starting to build that momentum. Try a new class. You guys are in the bar industry, so try a cooking class that's kind of fun for you, or try something where you're dancing, something where you're connecting. If you email me, I'll give you some more ideas too, but I know that that's such an important issue, and I can tell that it's super important to you, and I know that is a very, very common I know that it's a very common issue in relationships, especially for long-term relationships. It happens to all of us, including me. Let me know. I would love to hear about it. You can get to my email from MidoriVerity.com. That's my website, and you can contact me from there, and I will respond. Or you can always go to Twitter. I'm on there. I'm on Facebook. I'm all over the place. But anyway, you guys, I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like, I have a free quiz that you can take, which will show your relationship score. It's really cool because it will show you areas that maybe you didn't realize you need some help in, but also where your relationship is doing well. So you can celebrate that part of it, because usually there's some different things. There's areas where you're doing well, there's areas that you're not, and maybe have lost a little bit of focus on that. So if you go to CoachMidori.com, that's where my quiz is. So I really encourage you to take that. It's about 3 minutes long. It's free, and it will show you where you're doing well. It'll give you your relationship score, which is kind of fun. And you can do it with your partner or have your partner do it too. And then you can talk about it. Actually, Kevin, if you're still here, I suggest doing that and having your partner do it, and then talk about that afterwards, and then kind of come up with a plan. Talk about the issues that are happening. Why are these happening? And make sure that you're in a relaxed state. Don't do it when you guys are fighting or not talking. Bad time. So do it when you've had a drink and you're relaxed. Maybe you're enjoying dinner or a show or whatever. But that's when I would do it, and then use it as a conversation piece to open up the door to next time. So next month then. Next month what? What's next month? I'll be here tomorrow. Remember? Happy Hour Friday. When we are talking. Yes, when you're talking. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Kevin, you crack me up. You can also suggest that she watch my show. Hey, I just saw this great... I just met this lady on Periscope, Midori Verity, and she's just really cool. Watch her. Something like that. And these are always replayed. I put some of them on my YouTube channel, but there's different ways. I have so much free stuff. I have a podcast starting next month. All kinds of stuff, you guys. So anyway, I so appreciate you being here with me so long. I just started to scope yesterday, so I will do that. You just started, are you having your own scope? I strongly recommend it for your bar. It can be very, very fun. And if you have questions on that, I'm happy to give you my totally unexpert support on that, and give you some tips just from doing them. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Again, the address for the free relationship quiz. Hello, lovely. How are you, 24-hour? The address for the free quiz is coachmidori.com. Get ready for our podcast show, because we are interviewing flipping amazing people. A guy who has a show coming on tonight. What's his name? Oh my gosh, it's a challenge. It's a diet challenge show that's on ABC. I've been interviewing him. We're interviewing all kinds of just really cool people. The lady that I interviewed yesterday was filled with awesome tips and techniques on how to lose weight and how to make it permanent. So anyway, just stay tuned, and I look forward to sharing with you guys and growing with you guys. Take care. Thanks for being here. Bye guys. Till tomorrow. Happy Hour Friday tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Bye.